You know, it's very important to screen through what you listen to because it can influence what you do. And on the other end, it's important to listen because it could save you someday. A friend of mine told me how these expatriates living in Kenya wanted to buy some fancy items online. He identified them, he saw them, and he saw the contact, and he called the people who are selling the items, and he went to meet them. And when they met, they showed him where the place is, the house where the things were, and they went in, saw everything, and decided that they were going to go and show him a few more items in another location. First of all, this gentleman went on his own. Second, he trusted the online information as accurate truth. To cut a long story short, by the end of the day, he didn't have his credit card, all the funds in his ATM, his mobile banking had been exhausted, and he had even taken loans. Then the guys released him. The question I ask myself is whether with that kind of information, I would not be a victim. I love buying expatriate stuff. I'll spend a lot of time online looking at what expatriates are selling when they are leaving the country. You can find some very fancy stuff there. You can find some very good quality things at affordable prices. And they look very attractive. In fact, if you go to the marketplace in Facebook, you'll see a lot of that stuff. And it looks really glamorous. So I've been looking for an orthopedic office chair. And I was very particular that I wanted a white one that's very comfortable and can take care of my back. I actually saw one. There was an expatriate leaving the country and everything in his house was on sale. And there was videos of everything that's in the house, and there was specific items, their dimensions, their costs, and everything, and I loved it. But because I'd heard this story of someone who was conned, I was nervous. I didn't think to use my cybersecurity mindset. I thought to use my streetwise mindset. So I asked for the contact. I sent a message to that contact. They gave me the location. They gave me the location, but they didn't give me the house number. So I knew the estate, but I didn't know the house number. But since I had the mobile number, I didn't fret too much. So I called a friend of mine to drive with me to the location. Only when I'd reached the gate is when I figured out that I needed to have asked for the house number. So I called the number and it wasn't being picked. Now I was on alert. I thought if I tell the watchman that I'm looking for a place where someone is selling stuff, the watchman might get information about me, who I am with, what car I'm driving, and all the information that's required to track someone or for an offense. I told the watchman that I'm going to a certain house number. I gave a house number that I assumed existed, and I drove into the estate. Then I called the number and I said to the seller that I'm already in the estate, what's the house number? And there was instant panic. I could tell from his voice that he was panicking. He was like, which estate are you in? I said, exactly where you told me to come to, that's where I am. Are you at the gate? I said, I'm not at the gate, I'm in the estate. Please give me the house number. I'd like to come and pick the chair that we discussed. No, I'm not in the house right now. Can you just wait there? I see if I can get someone. Or 2 o'clock is fine, but you must come to the gate. When you're at the gate, you call me when you're at the security. Of course, as I said in the beginning, it's important to listen to things because they might save you one day. I had to leave immediately and block that number, delete all the contacts, and make sure that I don't take any call of a number that I've not saved for the next few days because I knew I'd exposed myself. The lesson here is, how do you know that the online shop is authentic? How do you confirm that the items you want to buy online are from an authentic seller, there's no fraud involved, and that you will not be conned? There are a number of things that you need to check to verify that what you're trying to buy online actually exists. Number one, you need to check the website, whether the website has some sort of misspelling and whether it looks like a genuine URL. Take that URL and try and do a Google search on it. Check the contact information and do a test on that. Also examine that page of the website that says about us and see what information you'll find there. An authentic seller would probably take the effort of having terms and conditions on their website. Check the terms and conditions. Generally, check that this organization that's trying to sell, even if they're selling on a portal, they would have their authentic website. If they're not selling, if they're selling on a portal and they don't own a website, you have to check and confirm the authenticity of the online platform, the e-commerce platform. Because unlike, I like to give an example of Uber, Bolt, and all the apps that exist for transport. You see, when you buy things off Amazon, you can look at how the person who's selling is rated. And you, as an online purchaser, actually have a role to play. And the role is to rate the service. Every time you buy something online, make an effort to rate the provider of that service or product. Because if a lot of people have purchased from that provider and they have been rated and they are 5-star, and that is authentic feedback from actual users, that is a sure way of confirming that whoever you're purchasing from actually exists and offers a service that is reputable. Let's take an example of hair salons. If you want to visit a hair salon and you want to look for it online, maybe the hairdresser has not taken time to create a formal website that you can use the list of checks and balances that I gave before, which is checking the URL that it's not misspelled, checking that they have terms and conditions, checking the About Us page, checking that the content there in terms of who to call, the mobile numbers and the email address exist, and searching that website on Google to see whether it opens up. For a hairdresser who's very good at what they do, they may not have invested in a website that expensive. But there are ways of making sure that you're going to see a real hairdresser at a real location that do a job that is accurate to the images that you see. What that means is every time I, as a hairdresser, serve a customer, I would recommend that before they leave, they go to my page, they rate me, they give a comment, and they recommend me. If I have 5 recommendations every day, and I'm in business for 1 year, you can imagine how many recommendations I'll have on my website. And if we were to use the ratings and the recommendations that are on our website for a service that we are looking for, chances of being played are minimum, because actual customers have experienced that quality of service and they have spoken, and the customer is always right. Thank you.